Welcome back, everybody. Although hair loss is something that's usually associated with men, more than half of women over the age of 50 will experience some form of it. And our next guest is here to offer some great advice. Please welcome Dr. Robert Jones.
Welcome, Robert.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome, Robert.
Robert, how serious is this issue for women?
Well, I'm very happy to be here. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. It's I see women every day in the office in tears because they're losing their hair, and it's something that they've been to their family doc for, and they're basically brushed aside. And it's such a huge issue for them to usually with women, hair loss is associated with either aging or illness. And men can get away with a little bit of thinning hair, but women, you know, it's devastating. It really is very emotional. And 90% of the time, there's something we can do. So it's nice to be here and let people know that there is something that can be offered.
Yeah. No, there are certain causes, correct? Let's go through
by far the most common cause of female pattern baldness is hereditary. And usually, you know, probably 80 or 90% of the women I see have hereditary female pattern baldness. There's also pregnancies, certain medications, the birth control pill, as well as also with females, the popularity of hair extensions can put pressure on the roots, and that can cause hair loss. And quite often black females, too, will wear their hair in tight braids and lose hair in the hairline.
Well, I guess you see it in the modeling industry and the acting industry, you know, and in the television industry, these ladies stick in their hair with these extensions and then they take them out.
Causes permanent hair loss.
Let's have a look. We have a picture. We have a picture of some. This is what?
Traction. What is this called?
Traction alopecia. So this particular female has worn her hair in tight braids for years, and what ends up happening, and it's a lot more common than you think, and especially with extensions, what happens is all of the hair thins out because it's causing pressure right through the whole scalp.
And you're constantly pulling the root, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, let's have a look at another photo here.
Yeah. And what is
that would be just typically female pattern baldness. Now, what that is females that lose hair lose it differently than males. Females lose hair, usually preserve their hairline, and generally thin all over the top of their head, and usually sort of the top of their head and their crown area, and where men usually sort of thin in the front and on the crown area. So it's a little bit of a different pattern with females, and it's actually called the Ludwig scale, and it's sort of generally global thinning on the top, and they usually thin on the back too. So it's a different pattern with hereditary hair loss.
Okay, now what do we have? What do we have up here? What's this?
Well, this is the Ludwig scale, and as you can see, it's hair loss usually from the top down the midline and sort of out. They usually get global thinning over the back of their head as well, but they, again, usually sort of get generalized thinning with preservation of that front hairline.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about, you know, it seems to me like, you know, men, obviously, it's not a huge issue for men, but for women...
It's a big issue for men, too.
It's a big issue, of course.
But a bigger issue, I think,
I know that,
females,
but for women, it's a bigger issue, and the communication about it seems to be not as open, they're not as open about talking about it.
Well, it's embarrassing, you know, and again, it's something that they go to their doctor for, and their doctor's used to dealing with people with serious illnesses, and they go in to see them, and most of the time, again, most of the time they get brushed aside, but it's definitely with most females, there is something you can do. There are treatments.
Okay, let's go through some of those.
Yeah, let's go through.
Well, for most females, I would say there are basically two options. First of all, you want to rule out medical causes because they're usually reversible. Once that's done, the next thing that we usually try is minoxidil or Rogaine. Now, the Rogaine that you get over the counter is a 2% solution. Through your physician, you can get a stronger solution, which is 6 or 6%. And that's usually the place we start. The other thing is...
What would that Rogaine do? Like, does it actually grow hair? Or does
it'll grow new hair. In fact, I tell females, just be careful you don't get on your face. Or
So it will stimulate hair growth?
Yeah, it will, for sure.
Really? Wow, that's interesting.
Now, the other is cosmetic options, and there's basically two options. One is I've got a few good people that make amazing sort of wigs that people can use that you know, there shouldn't be any embarrassment about wearing something like that if it makes you look good and you feel good about it. The other are cosmetic hair thickeners, and there's a number of these on the market. They're basically just tiny keratin or hair fibers that stick to your existing hair. And what we do is you just basically shake it on, and it makes your hair look thicker.
I want to see this. So how does this work?
So I'll show you. Actually, I've got thinning hair, so I'm going to show you on myself. So this is the fiber, and as you can see, it's a little bit thin up there. You know, I'm sort of losing some. I've had a hair transplant, but it's still a little bit thin.
Oh, that's
and so what you do is you just sort of shake it on.
It's like salt and pepper.
It's like a salt salt shaker. My friends tease me and they say, when are you going to come out with the pepper shaker?
Can I do with it?
Yeah, put a little on there. Sure.
Pepper shaker.
Oh my gosh, it does come out like a fiber.
Yeah,
that's really
it's
interesting.
Better, actually, it's good for females because it isn't actually very good in the hairline. It's better.
Look at you, look like John Bon Jovi right there now. Look at that.
Yeah, and you just rub it, and then what happens? What does that do?
Well, what it is tiny keratin hair fibers that stick to your existing hair and make your hair look thicker. And it's an amazing product, and especially with females, it's an amazing product.
And does this come in different colors? Is that like for
just
blondes
match your existing hair.
No, you use the, the dark black when you use it on blondes as well. That was a question like something I would ask. I'm a little shocked that he asked that. That's usually what I come up with.
Now you look at a lot of movie stars. Sometimes they don't have much hair, and sometimes they have more hair. And I think there's over 1 million users of this.
You know what? In those industries, all those industries, like I was saying earlier, the modeling industry and all of those smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. And so why not use a little smoke and mirrors in our lives? Right, ladies? You can have a little smoke and mirrors.
And the next one, I guess, is a little more extreme. It's the hair transplant.
Hair transplants are probably 1 in 20 or 1 in 30 females that I see actually come. They need a good donor site and a small area to cover. But again, that's a last resort.
Thank you very much, Robert. And before we go, Robert brought something for our audience. You're all taking home a bottle of the Natural Fiber Building System Instant Hair.
There we go.
And everyone